Great, thanks for the introduction. I'm Sharon Clements.
And I'm Jeff Blair. I lead Total Rewards at Ingersoll Rand. You're getting two for the price of one today. We're going to be talking about an integrated career management and reward system, and we both represent the key aspects of that program. So to begin, we launched a new program related to career management and rewards. We call it Career Progress. In Career Progress, the term progress is building off of our employment brand, Progress Begins With Me, which also builds off of our company brand about inspiring progress. For the last 2 years, we've had a small but global team working on this to advance the career management process at our company and to reposition the reward system for our people.
Great, and to help explain what Career Progress is, I'm going to grab the clicker. First of all, I don't have a fancy accent from Tennessee, unfortunately. I'm from the north, so I have flat O's and long A's, so you can listen to those for a few minutes. So to help explain what Career Progress is, so imagine you join a new organization, and from day one, you understand where your role fits in the company's career and rewards framework. You have insight in what it takes to be successful, both in your current role as well as other roles in the organization that you may aspire to, and you understand where you are in relation to other roles in the organization. As you think about your career aspirations and you continue to plan them, or you're early in your career and you're just getting started, you have insight into the different key experiences that you can gain in different roles in the organization. You understand the competencies that are required for future strategic success, and you have insight into what might be some common moves that will help me gain the experiences and build the skills that I need to help me in my career journey. Oh, and you can have a conversation with your manager because he or she has received training and understands the value of having good career coaching discussions. Oh, and there's consistency across your roles, no matter what business, function, or region of the world that you might be in. That's Career Progress. That was our utopia. So where do we get this great idea? From our employees. Our engagement survey consistently over the last few cycles has indicated that employees are looking for more focus on career development and advancement. And after the engagement survey, we do focus groups, so we gain further insight to really understand what was behind it. So they spoke and we listened.
So we were quite a ways off the utopia that Sharon just described. In reality, we had a dated salary grade model. Employees had little or no transparency to how jobs were leveled or fit within the organization. We had inconsistency in our job titling and roles between regions, between countries. Many functions had different jobs, different titles, and employees had very little focus on how to navigate their career inside our company. Basically, employees just felt lost when it came to managing their careers inside of our corporation.
So granted, we know that we could have taken some easy solutions to solve some of our issues. We could have done some things to get some quick wins. We could have focused on moving to bands and solving our issues with our reward structure, but that would have had minimal impact for our employees. We could have also created more career management tools for managers and employees, but we realized because we had so many inconsistencies in our reward structure that it was going to create a lot more confusion for them. So in order for us to create meaningful change, we needed to step back, think big, and it required a unified, integrated approach across talent, rewards, and our HR processes and systems.
So first, to make career pathing intuitive, we had to create a framework that would standardize our jobs in an orderly fashion and also let us create a rewards framework that would help facilitate the fluid movement of talent. What we really were trying to do was to de-emphasize the rewards piece. So in the old world, it was you might move from one grade level to another grade level and all you're concerned about is a change in pay. In this new world, what we want to do is really emphasize, take this role, do not worry about what's going to happen with your rewards. We really want you to focus on the learning and the experiences that you're going to get and help improve your development so you could achieve your ultimate career aspirations. That was, again, part of our utopia. So to begin, because we're a 146-year-old company, we had to get rid of our clutter. So if you can imagine One day you wake up after multiple moves, many of us in this room have moved many, many times, and you never get rid of the clutter. You open your garage door one day, and you finally decide that you're going to clean it out, and you start the simple process of just trying to organize, throwing stuff away, and seeing what's left. Later, as you've kind of pulled things off the wall, you're left in a sea of dust, and you've made zero progress. In fact, you might be worse off than where you started to begin with. That's kind of how we felt when we started this journey around career progress. So to give you an idea how messy our garage was, we were a 146-year-old company. By the way, I think we're probably the third oldest company that's continuously traded on the New York Stock Exchange. We have reinvented ourselves multiple times. We've acquired companies, we've divested companies. As a result, we kept adding boxes to our garage, so we had a lot of clutter that we had to clear out. So just like with the garage, you had to start somewhere. So to take a closer look at our journey, we really embarked on two pieces of work. One is around career management, and Sharon's going to talk to you a little bit more about that here in a minute. And the second one was around the career framework and the reward structure that we needed to serve as the foundation to enable career management to actually work very fluidly inside of our organization. We also had 5 underlying principles that were kind of the North Star of what we were trying to achieve. They were also the key deliverables that we're looking for at the end of this initiative. So as I mentioned before, the first thing that we needed to do was to kind of change our reward structure or our job framework. What we did is we started off with analyzing our jobs, and after 146 years, we have 22,000 salaried employees in our company, probably about 50,000 total employees worldwide, but this scope of this is 22,000 employees. And for those 22,000 employees, we had 10,000 jobs. We have 10,000 jobs. It's really hard to plot out a career path. I mean, it's just very confusing. We had to get rid of the clutter to be able to do that. We started analyzing those jobs, looking at the work context, the levels, and we wanted to also preserve the traditional career paths inside of our organization. We got together with managers around the world, so we held 60 global workshops to better understand the aspects and the attributes of these 10,000 jobs. And we wanted to start collapsing that down into a fewer number. So through those workshops, we started creating some criteria that would say, okay, how do you do this? How do you go from 10,000 of something to something fewer? Again, trying to plot out something that might be more meaningful for employees when they're managing their career. So we went from 10,000 roles or jobs down to 800 roles. So it was a great change, operational excellence, just really getting rid of the clutter. And from there, it gave us a lot of insights as to how we should create our new jobs framework or our jobs architecture. So we created that, and I'll come back to this in a minute and tell you a little bit more about that. So we created an architecture, and then from there, we took those 800 roles and we plotted them on the framework. We took the 22,000 employees and plotted them to one of the 800 roles. And believe it or not, it just was really difficult because managers and employees, had a lot of appeals and questions, am I actually mapped to the correct role? So we had a number of validation tests. We worked with some outside consultants to make sure we're getting this right. We had lots of appeals and reviews. And then to ensure that the integrity of the framework would remain intact for decades, we created a governance model and structure that would make sure that what we put in place will last for the years to come, and we don't end up with the clutter that we had in the beginning. So what we ended up with ultimately was an operational framework. The end result was not just to move from grades to bands, but we also added career streams. And as you can see here, we had a support stream, technician stream, professional stream, and a leader stream. So for example, a senior employee in a support role in band 4 is at a different career stage than somebody that's an early career professional also in band 4. So the goal was to create a reward structure, again, to enable the fluid movement of talent and encourage employees to focus on their long-term development more so than the rewards themselves. So with that, employees can now navigate through trickier career moves. They can move from support to professional roles or from individual contributor roles to leader roles. Now employees can kind of look at the framework like a chessboard. They know that the future role might require moves downward, upward, or laterally to achieve their ultimate career goals. Sharon?
And so while Jeff's team was busy working on the rewards framework, we realized that we needed to provide managers and employees with an easy way to navigate career management in the new framework. We needed to be able to provide them with opportunities to explore and be able to connect the dots. So the first step that we took is we selected a career software that we've called My Career Navigator. And what's great about My Career Navigator, among its many features, is career insights and exercises that employees can participate in to give them insight into themselves about their values, motivators, et cetera, and insight reports to be able to discuss with their manager. But what's really at the heart of My Career Navigator is what we call the Explore Path option. And so as Jeff said, they took 10,000 jobs and grouped them into 800 roles. We took those 800 roles, and for each of them, we identified what are the key experiences that someone could gain in that particular role. What might be the critical competencies that are needed for the future strategy of that particular function? And then what might be some common career moves that someone would be able to look at to gain the experiences that they might be looking for? These aren't your standard common moves that people would normally do in the past, just traditionally because that's what everyone did. These are those that are based on what will be have the most strategic impact for the business moving forward. We also provided training for our managers. This has been an optional training, but a successful training called Help Them Grow or Watch Them Go. And it really provides managers, one, with the business case of why career development and being that true talent steward is so important, but also providing them with some practical tools and resources. And we've actually provided this in all the regions that we operate today. So let me walk you through an example. I'd like to introduce you to Steve. He's not here today, but imagine that Steve is. He's a material planner that works in one of our facilities. And Steve is early in his career. He's only been with us for a short period of time, but he knows that someday he wants to be a plant manager. He has no idea what it's going to take to get there, so he's able to go into My Career Navigator and explore some of the career exercises to learn more about himself. And then he's able to take a look at what are the things, the experiences I can gain in the role that I'm in today to help me continue to be better at what I'm doing. But he can also take a look at what's critical for success to be a large plant manager. So he's able to see what might be some of the critical competencies. So for example, having strong product knowledge or supply chain knowledge and being an expert. So Steve can start thinking along his career what kinds of experiences will help him gain the knowledge in those particular areas and build the skills that would be important for him. Now, Steve could be one of many different people in the organization that aspires to be a plant manager. So the path for him to get there will depend, and as the business continues to grow and technology changes, those roles may evolve and will probably evolve over time. So with that, he could take a promotion, he could take a lateral move. Some might be where he's leading a small team, he might be an individual contributor. But at the end of the day, he's gaining different experiences that can help him prepare to be a viable candidate for a plant manager role someday.
Great. So where are we today? So we officially rolled out Career Progress last year. We're already seeing some very positive impacts. If you go to the employee engagement surveys that Sharon was talking about, we re-polled our employees again, and we're seeing a great lift in our employee development and career scores related to the employee engagement survey that we do annually. Also, the Career Navigator tool that Sharon was just talking about, we've seen great uptake in the usage, and it continues to increase every day. If you walk the halls inside of our company, you talk to managers, employees, we're starting to hear some great verbatim comments. Here's a few of them on the screen here. One that I like a lot is the employee said to us, I'm getting very excited to dig in and consider my future. We're giving them the tools and resources, a way to do that. So in addition, we have a very integrated process, I think, now between learning and rewards. We're working in a very, very integrated fashion. It's really seamless. Employees have visibility into what does it take if I want to be considered or I want to develop myself or any of those 800 jobs that Sharon was talking about. I have visibility as to what it takes and I can start plotting off a career path. In addition, managers are now working very effectively at coaching their employees related to career development, and it's just working out very, very well. Sharon?
And so with that, all the tools and resources that we've created, we are just starting one of our critical development periods in the organization. So all of these tools and resources, managers and employees will be working on them together, so we'll really get to see this come to life. We're also translating everything into seven languages, so people, whether they're based in Shanghai or in our office in Brussels, for example, or our plants in Latin America, they'll be able to access the tools and resources. So if I leave you with one thing today, it's to think big. What's your utopia? You may not be undertaking a project of this significance anytime soon, but what I would encourage you to do is think about what we've done. We really took an integrated approach that required collaboration across multiple functions within HR. Jeff and I had never worked on a project before, and I'm sure that we will work on a project again sometime soon. But it really was an integrated effort, and that, I think, was one of the key contributors to the success that we're seeing. So I'd encourage you to think big, think who else you can include to help you solve what some of the issues might be, rather than just taking a quick solution and have an early win versus long-term sustainability. So with that, that's career progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Good.